is Friday, June 21st, and I have a great show here for you. The news headlines, the weather report, and today in history. On today's show, we have Wareham editor Carl Shefford, who is joining us this morning to digest this week's news. Also, Trey Strong. We're going to be speaking with Tina Miranda, the mother of Trey, discussing about her upcoming events and also to talk about Trey and the legacy he has left behind and what his mother is trying to do. Basically, just bringing the community together and helping out her fellow neighbors. And finally, I finally got a co-host. That is Indiana Trope, who is going to be our weekly youth correspondent. He's going to start his first segment this morning, interviewing his fellow students. That segment today in lieu of the coffee chart. But before we get to any of that, I would like to take this moment to thank Not Your Average Antiques, an antique shop down Cranberry Highway in East Wareham, for donating the props that you see in the morning show. So stay with me because the news and the weather report are next. Okay, so showers this morning, then becoming steady light rain during the afternoon hours, high at 68 degrees and low of 57 degrees. Tomorrow, Saturday, partly cloudy with afternoon showers or thunderstorms, high at 77 and at night low of 58. And there goes my day at Waterways. I thought I really was going to Waterways tomorrow. Anyhow, maybe it's Sunday because Sunday is going to be sunny with high of 84, cheetah, and low of 61. And that concludes this morning's weather report. The news is next. We'll be right back. Welcome back. What a show we have this morning. So it's not my favorite Russian, but somebody even better. Carl Shefford, editor at Wareham Week, is here this morning to digest this week's news. Welcome.
Good morning, Queen.
Good morning. You must be used to our chaos.
Right. You should see us at the newspaper office on Wednesday mornings. It's fine.
I should trust people at the control room much better. Okay. Well, what a week you had.
Yes.
And I am so glad that it was you and not me who covered the latest ZBA story. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
You're our inside person now. We have the person in the inside now.
We'll see.
Blowing the whistle and everything. So this story has been developing slowly. It started as just regular ZBA meeting, regular project. Before you know it, something explodes. Maybe a potential law has been broken. We're not quite sure yet, right? Or are we sure?
Well, there are things that I have real questions about that and that I know neighbors of the project have real questions about that they haven't been able to get answers on. And that's partially because there hasn't been a building commissioner in months and months. There was a new one hired very recently, but it's been hard to get some definitive answers. Okay,
so for those who have not read your story, I take very few people, but help us, catch us up on what actually happened. What are we talking about?
Right. So the chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals is Nazi El-Galazi. He's a developer in town, and he is working on a project on Old Stagecoach Road, which is a little private dirt road, really, in West Wareham. And he owns 2 lots of land, one on each side of the street, and what he says he's doing is he says he's building 2 duplexes, one on each side of the street. But the first thing that seems strange is that the foundations for these dwellings are really far apart. So one half of the duplex is 300 feet away from the other half on one side of the street, and the other side it's 100 feet away. And he says he's going to connect them with a breezeway. But what he's applying for at the ZBA, which is the board he's the chair of, is a permit to split the duplex into two separate homes. And you need a special permit because you're not allowed to have more than one house on one lot.
Okay, so he's building a duplex, right? Everything fine, but he is connecting them, which kind of gonna look like a one house with.
No, so sort of the opposite of that.
The opposite, okay.
He says he's building duplexes, which
Okay.
he's allowed to do, but the permits for those duplexes aren't really there, and the duplexes they're strange. They would be strange buildings, because
Okay.
usually when you think of a duplex, you think of, like a big house that's sort of split into two parts and they share a wall, right? These look like two separate houses that are very far apart and that would be connected.
Okay.
And he says he has permits to build a duplex, but when I went to the building office and looked at the permits, what I found were 4 permits for single-family homes, but then which were issued last November, I believe. But then in January and then in April, there are these letters saying, no, you can't split the 2 duplexes that you have permits for into 2 separate homes. But I couldn't find any permits for the duplexes, and the building office didn't have any records of them, and neither did the planning office. So none of the permits really make any sense.
Okay.
And what seems to be happening is that it seems like he's sort of building the duplex that he can most easily split into 2 family homes. In a way that you could say it seems like he's building 2 single family homes and then just counting on getting the permit in a way that may or may not be ethical.
Interesting. Now, what sticked out to me about this story, and I love the research that went on this story. I really loved your reporting, but I couldn't comprehend, and this is what smelled fishy, that we have the chairman of ZBA overseeing his own project. And also something about his ex-wife, yes, ex-wife, but ex-wife did not excuse herself.
Right. And so, I think it's not that uncommon for developers to be on like planning boards or zoning boards of appeals. But what does seem unethical, I know of at least 2 complaints that have been made to the state ethics board about this, is that so when the zoning board of appeals is going to discuss a project, they have to file a legal notice in the newspaper to let people know about it. And he filed the legal notices for his own projects in his capacity as chairman. When that should have been done by a gentleman, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, to be honest, but who steps up as chair when Mr. El-Khalasi has to recuse himself.
Yeah.
So he improperly, I believe, filed those legal notices, and he also spoke about the project to his lawyer at a previous ZBA meeting.
Okay.
So what's supposed to happen is they're supposed to say, oh, we're going to talk about this project, and then he's supposed to get up and leave the room. But he said, oh, we're not talking about it this week. We don't have enough people here, so we're just gonna delay it till next week, right? Which seems sort of improper. And also, I heard that his ex-wife is also on the board, Veronica Debonese, and she did not recuse herself from either hearing. And she also, I was told that someone who spoke to the state ethics board said that she's supposed to send a letter to the town clerk saying, like, I'm not going to recuse myself, but I promise to be neutral, and she hadn't done that.
She didn't do that. Have you found anything? I mean, and I know this is speculating, but if she is at all involved in this development in any capacity?
I think she's not involved in this specific development, but I have heard that she does, work with Mr. El-Khalasi on other projects. I don't know that firsthand, but that is what I've heard.
So you have, your website, Wareham Week, lots of comments regarding this story. Have you took time to read it, to see what people are concerned of, what people are saying?
Yeah, so I read all the comments, and that is not my favorite part of the job, but it is part of the job that I do.
I enjoy that part.
And yeah, people are pretty upset about this. People think that are upset that it seems wrong, and that they think that he's getting away with it, and they say, and something that a lot of the commenters have said is, even if he walks out of the room, that doesn't mean that he's not going to still have influence over the proceedings. That's a lot of people's opinion. But people are, very much not happy.
So what should be, or what could the town do? I mean, by the town, what could Derek do here?
Oh, I don't know if Derek really can do anything in particular. I think it would be more, I know that the building commissioner, who was just hired, has the capacity or the ability to issue a stop work order if he so chooses. I talked to the people at the building office, and they said generally if people are building something that they're not permitted for, or are building, without a permit in general, they can, double or triple their permit fee. But if you're a developer, I would guess that the permit fees are probably not going to really break the bank.
Okay. So is it as simple as just the chairman to go back and issue other permits? Ask for other permits?
Yeah, so he could ask for other, so what he's asking for is to split these duplex permits into 4 single-family home permits. And I believe, my understanding, which I'm not a building code expert, but my understanding is that if the Zoning Board of Appeals approves his request, then he's all set, basically.
Did he call you to comment on the story?
I asked him about it after the last Zoning Board of Appeals meeting, when it was, again, pushed because there weren't enough members of the board there. And he was not that concerned about it. I have some quotes from him in my article, but he didn't really want to talk about it. And he said, I was asking about the permits. He said, well, you've seen the permits, so why are you asking about them?
And you did go to the town hall. Tell us what you saw.
Yeah, so I went to town hall and I asked for all of the, the files on these projects, and I saw each one had either a building permit or a copy of the building permit for a single family unit. They had 2 copies of this letter saying that he couldn't build single family homes. And a weird thing about that is that it's the same letter, but there was one dated in January, and then an identical one dated in April, signed by different people. So that was strange. I don't really know what that's about. And then there are some plans that sort of show, that have the breezeways that he says make them duplexes on the plans, but the under the zoning bylaws, a duplex is one, a single building with 2 units, and he has 4 single unit building permits. So I think that that's not the same thing.
Wow. Good for you, Catherine. Okay, so now moving on to something as serious but not as controversial, and that is the Route 6 sidewalk, right?
Yeah, so there's
crosswalk, sorry.
Yes, there's a crosswalk on Route 6 near Swiss Beach Road that's been the site of 3 pedestrian accidents since December of last year. And so that's including a 16-year-old girl was hit there a few weeks ago, and I guess she's doing okay. But, that's a road where people go really fast, and the town is really concerned about it, and they're trying to make changes to make it more safe. But the issue is that since it's a state road, the town does not have the authority to put any signs or lights or anything there without permission of the state. Because what happens is, because it's a 4-lane road, the person in the right-hand lane will stop to let a pedestrian cross, and the person in the passing lane will just keep going and not even see a pedestrian.
It has happened several times. It has happened to me too. Not that crossing, but I was driving and I couldn't understand why somebody was stopping.
Right.
You couldn't see the person.
Right.
So they're talking, I saw even about whether to take the crosswalk out, but even that, people would still cross.
Right.
We see it a lot with Cranberry Highway. We don't have crosswalks and people are crossing.
Right, and it's maybe even more dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah, so what they really want to do is put up, if not a full traffic light, one of those, like a light up pedestrian crossing signs where you can, press a button and it flashes lights at drivers. And so they're working with the state to try and get that done. I know Representative Susan Gifford is involved, and as are the selectmen, the chief of police, and the road commission. But they're frustrated because they can't take action on their own.
Okay. All right, sorry.
That's okay.
All right, so and then we have the district of the disposal waste day that turned horrible.
Yes, so there was a hazardous waste day a few weeks ago that had hundreds of cars, or well over 100 cars waiting in line. I talked to a number of people who waited in line for like 2.5 hours and then got turned away. There was also a multi-car accident while people were waiting. It was really dangerous, and a lot of people got turned away, and they were very frustrated. And so I spoke to the director.
The latest one, and my take is that he pretty much said it wasn't our fault.
Well, he was upset that people, or he said that people shouldn't have waited in line as early, because people showed up at 6:30 when the event started at 9. And he also was saying that, people brought all kinds of stuff that they could get rid of at the recycling center, but those were things that were listed on the flyer as things that people could bring.
Yeah. So I know normally they have both towns do it at the same day. This
Right.
was the first time they only had Wareham. So I take it they have learned their lesson. Therefore, are they going to go back to the old ways?
Hopefully. Part of the issue is that it's hard to get, there are only a certain number of companies that put on these hazardous waste days, and they get booked up pretty quickly, but they might do one in November. And hopefully they'll do it in 2 locations, because it seemed like this didn't work out that well.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being here this morning to digest this week's news and the events. We will be back with more. Now you have. Welcome back. So for this particular interview, I have Tina Miranda, the mother behind Trey Strong Movement, here in the studio to talk about Trey Strong and the upcoming fundraiser. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good
the
morning.
last time you and I spoke, that was 3 years ago.
Yes, at my home.
At your home. And I was new to this town, so thank you for trusting me and welcoming me in your home. I remember when I came to Wareham, Trey was a big, big name, and I did not get a chance to meet your son, and it wasn't long, and then your son passed away. I know that he was at Wareham High School. He was a great student, avid sports fan. He loved his community. And that is what you have been trying to do. Keep his memory alive. And the most amazing thing is that this whole town is behind you. So that says that your son must have been quite a young man. Yes. So you have a little letter, and this
Yes.
is, you include this in the backpacks.
Every backpack I do, I put this in there so they can know about Trey.
Absolutely. May you, if you don't mind, you can either read this letter or you could just talk about Trey.
I'll read it.
Okay.
All right, Trey was a 17-year-old student athlete at Wareham High School. At 8, Trey was diagnosed with a brain tumor that he beat like a champ. It was almost a decade later that he was diagnosed again with brain cancer to only learn it would be inoperable and terminal. Trey passed away June 5, 2016. Trey was proud of his Wareham community and was grateful for all the compassion and love from the community during his illness. Trey didn't want to be forgotten. His wish was to always give back, and with everyone's help, Trey's wishes are being met. The Trey Strong organization goal is to make sure no child or student goes without the basic needed items for school, enable them to succeed, which is backpacks and school supplies, and helping college students with school supplies and giving Wareham High School students scholarships in Trey's memory.
May you please come this way for me a little bit? Thank you. All right. So before Trey died, and I know you said Trey did not want to be forgotten, did you get to talk about how he would like to be remembered?
No, we didn't talk about it. I didn't talk about it. It's just one day I just thought of something to do, and that's when I thought of backpacks and school supplies. Because there's a lot of families that have 5, 6 kids that can't afford backpacks and school supplies.
You said something. You said when the latest ones, when you were giving this backpacks, you said a child or several of them came to you and said, "This is better than Christmas."
Yeah, I gave 14 backpacks to my kids in my class, and with school supplies, and they were so happy. I said to myself, "Wow, they're acting like it's Christmas."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when the kids go, "This is better than Christmas,"
Oh my
they
God.
were so happy.
So what's in the backpacks? What do you give them?
I give them a couple of folders, some notebooks, binders, erasers, pencil sharpeners, pencils, highlighters, crayons, colored pencils, markers, ruler, erasers,
Everything that they will
everything
need
that they would,
to make their school day.
yes.
So, okay, so you were thinking of different ways to remember your son, and I know the backpack is to help those families who cannot afford. But as you were doing this, you know, and I know now you're doing even scholarships, but how do you constantly improve, you know, how you honor that legacy?
Just the community being involved and helping me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the community has been there.
Yes, excellent. They have been right there.
And that must feel something. You're
Yes.
not alone.
Nope. Nope. There's so many people that would just drop off a bag of school supplies, backpacks. I just got one lady just dropped off 15 backpacks. They'll just drop off stuff at my house.
And this has been going on for the past 2 or 3.
This is my 3rd year.
Your 3rd year
Yeah.
doing backpacks. And is this your 1st year doing scholarship?
My second.
2nd year
My
doing
second.
scholarships. Tell me about this
Wait a
scholarship.
minute, this is my 3rd year. I did it the first year. I gave 7. I gave 7 kids scholarships the first year. It was the year that Trey graduated, so everybody who gave me an application, I just gave them all scholarships because it was his year and that he would have graduated.
What is Trey Miranda's scholarship stand for?
For Trey. Trey was a good kid. He was a homebody. He loved his community. He loved his friends, loved his family. He loved sports. Yeah.
So in the letter, like for those who were applying for the scholarship, what did you ask from them?
I went with what I thought that Trey would want me to pick. I wouldn't look at the names. I would just read everybody's thing. I would look at the names and read, and then I would just pick from there.
Okay, so tell me some of those who you have picked. What did they say about themselves?
I picked one girl who said that she was homeless.
Yes.
Her family was homeless, and that kind of got to me. So I knew that she was going to have a hard time.
Did it matter what college?
Nope, didn't matter what college. Nope.
Okay, but they had to be going to college.
Yes.
Okay.
And then one of the persons I picked said her mother works hard, and she doesn't want her mother to help her with anything. She's going to get 2 jobs so she can pay her own way to college. And I'm like, oh, I like that.
And you like that?
I like that, yeah.
So, and then we have this Sunday, we have another fundraiser.
Yep, this is my third motorcycle run. It's called Trey's Run. And it was weird because I used to go to this little boy who had cancer. Every year I go to his run. So in May, right before Trey passed away, I wasn't going because he wasn't feeling good. He's like, Ma, you go every year, I'll be fine, why don't you go? And so I ended up going, and I kept on coming home to check on him. And then he would say, how come they don't have a Trey's Run? But nobody knew that. Nobody knew that. And he ended up passing away 2 weeks later.
After Trey?
After I went to the bike run, Trey passed away 2 weeks later. But he wanted me to go to that run. So, but then one of my friends came up to me, Randy, and he said, do you mind if we do a Trey's Run? And I said, oh my God, that's what Trey said he wanted. And he never knew that. Nobody knew that but me.
So this is now this is the third year to doing the run,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
So tell me about the run. I know it's Sunday.
Yep, it's Sunday. Kickoff is 11:30. We meet at the Onset VFW, and then we do a route around Lakeville, Middleborough, and back to Wareham, back to Onset. And then the party will start about 1 o'clock, 12:31. We have music, raffles, DJ, food, and jumpy for the kids. A lot of sports, football, baseball for the kids.
For the past 2 years, you have been doing the run. Tell me about its success. How many were you able to fundraise?
Last year, it got canceled because of the rain, so we had to do it the following, and a lot of people didn't know, so it wasn't as big as the first year, but we're hoping this year it's going to be bigger.
Okay.
Hoping this year it's going to be bigger.
Okay, and Sunday is going to be a beautiful day.
Yes.
It's going to be a little hot, but it's going to be a beautiful day. You couldn't
Yes.
have picked a better day than that.
Thank goodness.
Tell us about the strength it takes, not only to remember your son, but to reach out to your community and really have the strength to think of another parent.
It's tough. There's days I don't even want to get out of bed, but I know I have to. And a lot of people will look at me, they're like, wow, you're strong. How do you do it? And I'm like, I got to do it. It's tough, but Trey wouldn't want me moping around doing nothing. He'd want me doing something for the community. That's what he wanted me to do, helping people.
Who came up with the Trey Strong?
I think his friends.
Okay.
He was so close with his friends, so close with his friends. They were always over the house because Trey was a homebody, so all his friends were over the house all the time.
Yes. So they said Trey Strong.
Yep.
And
King of Onset.
I did not see the King of Onset part.
This is my new bracelet.
Okay, that's your new bracelet, King of Onset.
King
Okay,
of
because I was
Onset.
about to say, I don't have that one. I have
Because
the
he used to
Trey
wear a
Strong.
crown in the
Okay.
hospital. My son, Jordan, gave him a crown. So Trey wore that crown every day and said he was king of the 9th floor when we were in the hospital. He said he was king of the 9th floor. So that's how King of Onset came.
So we have this scholarship. 3 women are going to college. You awarded 3 scholarships this year.
Yes.
And we have the fundraiser, the run this Sunday. What is next? Any other future events this year? This will conclude.
Yep, I just do the one motorcycle run, Trey's Run.
All right. And for those who are looking to get the backpacks, back to school backpacks, how do they reach out to you?
Yes, I have a Trey Strong organization email. They can email me or message me on Facebook. And I've done over 200 this year.
Over 200.
Over 200 backpacks with supplies, and I do it at my house. And I have a little girl, Emma, who's 11 years old. She was 11. She's 13 now, and she's been helping me all these years do it. And she knows what to put in the backpack, and me and her do every backpack.
And I see pictures you shopping at Walmart.
Yeah, always shopping. Every other day I was shopping, and I personalize. I'll ask the parent what their kids like.
Okay.
And
right.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of work. Yeah, I ask them what they like, and I try to get them what they like, what character they like. Yep, I do. So they can have what they like.
Where do you get the time? Because you also work.
Yes, I work.
Yes,
I work. I know. Up all night. And then I set my whole house up, the whole kitchen.
I've seen pictures of the backpacks overtaking your whole living
My whole
room.
house.
Oh my goodness.
It's going to be interesting this year with kids.
Oh, so you're going to have little minions helping you. Yes.
Two little boys will be helping
Two
me.
little boys. You could add that to playtime. Okay, we're
Yeah.
going to be filling backpacks now.
Yep.
All right. So how can the community help you pretty much continue what you're doing?
Basically, picking up school supplies, backpacks.
Is there specific school supplies that you're actually looking for at the moment?
What the kids need.
Okay.
They need. They need the notebooks, the binders, pencils, pens, highlighters, backpacks.
Yeah. Okay.
Pencil holders.
So they can just buy those or give you a donation?
Yep, or donate, yep. And I go shopping.
Or join you when you go
Even the
shopping.
other day, someone asked me for a backpack.
Yeah.
So year round, if someone wants a backpack, even though I have a deadline when it's done, but if someone needs one, they got it.
Are you working with the Boys and Girls Club?
Oh, yes, I gave 25 or 30 backpacks full of supplies to the kids at the Boys and Girls Club.
Okay. They must be very appreciative.
Yeah, they are. I even got some thank you cards in the mail and some pictures that kids wanted to thank me. And they got my address and mailed me cards and pictures and saying thank you, that they loved their backpack.
What is the most, when you get those thank you cards and when you do this, I mean, I know you feel
get
great.
teary-eyed.
Yeah, teary-eyed.
I do. I'll get teary-eyed, start crying. But then I know I'm making somebody happy. Just a backpack makes kids so happy. And then when they open it up and see all the stuff I put in it, they're like, wow.
And of course, you send them the letter about Trey.
Yes,
So they can
yeah,
know
I put
why
that
you're
in
doing this.
in all the backpacks. And I tell them, give this to your parent.
Yeah. Well, I do not know where you mastered the strength, but we have something to learn from you.
And Trey's birthday happens to be Sunday.
This Sunday.
Yeah, he would have been 21. So I'm going to have a big cake with his picture on it at the bike run.
Yes.
Some balloons. And then I'm going to have a table set up where because they retired Trey's football jersey and his basketball jersey. And I have a big, huge frame. I'm going to bring that and pictures of collage of Trey and have a table.
What was his number?
His football was 67 and his basketball was 14.
And they retired both?
Yeah, they retired both. I got him in a big frame at home.
Well, I feel like Trey gave back to this community, and the community is here now, pretty much, fighting with you and helping you.
Yes, they are.
Well, thank you so much.
Couldn't ask for a better community.
You could not ask for a better community, and the community could not ask for a better student and a better neighbor.
Thank you.
I really feel this is all because of who your son was. He made it easier. You didn't have to do much.
And he gives me signs all the time.
What was the latest sign?
The latest sign was, had a little procedure 2 days ago.
Okay.
And I was a little nervous. And then the lady gives me my locker key, and it was 6, which is Trey's month, June. So I'm like, okay.
And you take those signs?
Yep, I always get little signs.
I know you're going to be very busy, and so I'm glad that you are able to make it here today. And I will try to be there on Sunday, if anything.
So skip water is...
To skip, yeah. Wait, you mentioned cake.
Yeah, I'm going to have big cake.
Yes. Yeah. So I'll be there. The event, you say sign off is at 11:30?
Yep, the kickoff is when we'll leave on the motorcycles.
Okay,
yep.
but 9 people start together.
Yeah, like 12:31.
Okay.
Is when, it'll be till 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And the food will be just served from 2 to 4.
All right. Well, I'll try to make it.
Thank you.
If anything, to just take a picture.
I was just going to say I'll take pictures for you.
I'll take pictures for you, yes. Then I can include them in my Monday minutes. Well, thank you very much for being here. And I hope that when you get some free time, you will come back.
Anytime.
And tell us about your progress and how many backpacks you have filled.
Thank you.
For anybody looking for some help, then they can just text you, email you.
Yes.
Facebook page is active. Send you a message, what they need, how much they need.
Yep, I have a Trey Strong organization at yahoo.com.
Okay. Trey Strong organization at yahoo.com.
Yes.
And may I have one of these?
Sure,
then
you sure can.
include it?
You can have both of these if you want.
Thank you very much. All right. So with me was Tina Miranda, the mother of Trey Miranda, who is we are having, or Tina Miranda is having a fundraiser this Sunday, Trey Strong Run, which is going to start at 11:30, and registration is at 9 a.m. and kickstand at 11:30 a.m. this Sunday in Onset. So it's going to be great weather, so you can stop by and learn more about Trey Strong or just join in the run. So this concludes this segment. We're going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back with more. Hello, and thank you for being with us this morning. We are broadcasting live from our WCTV studio. This is Good Morning Wareham, and it is your source for local news, weather, traffic information, and extra juicy information. And now for a moment in history, let's take a look at where we were today in history. So this day in history, in 1788, the United States ratified the Constitution. New Hampshire became the ninth and final necessary state to approve the Constitution. And also today in 1970, legendary soccer player Pele led his Brazilian team to a victory over Italy, netting Brazil its third World Cup win with a 4-1 victory. And also today in 1964, 3 civil rights workers were killed by the Ku Klux Klan in Mississippi while they were working to register black voters. National outrage ensued after the news broke out. Dozen people were arrested. The trial took decades for people to be tried. 8 were found guilty, while the last one was found guilty in 2005. And today for birthday, we are saying happy birthday to Prince William, Duke of Cambridge. And happy birthday to everybody else celebrating their big day today, including Trey Miranda, who's going to be celebrating his 21st birthday on Sunday. And that's all for today in history. To learn more cool historical facts, please go online under history.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more. Indiana Trop, our youth correspondent, is next. But first, let's take a look at our events calendar.
Sure at this point.
Like number.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first segment of Youth Talk. As Queen said, I am Indiana Troop, Good Morning Wareham's youth correspondent and the host of Youth Talk. I'm involved in tons in the school and the community, and when the opportunity arose, I had to take it to host this segment on Good Morning Wareham. So this segment, Youth Talk, will showcase all the good that happens within the community, focusing on our youth. And who better to lead a youth segment than myself? In this episode, we will talk to some different students about their plans for the summer, and we'll also talk about some of the amazing things kids can do over the summer and this weekend. All right, so here joining me today over here, I have three guests. We have Alex Burdick. So Alex is going to be a freshman next year. He is the lieutenant governor for our division of Key Club. He's in the AV club. And he also is the WHS 8th grade citizenship award recipient. So thank you for coming today.
Yeah, no problem.
We also have Amaya Anderson, who is the vice president of the Foreign Language Club. She's a student council rep for her class. She also is in softball, AV club, global ed, and she'll be leaving for Australia Saturday, tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That is crazy. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that for sure. And then we also have Marianne Karam, who is going to be a freshman next year also, and Amaya is going to be a sophomore. But Marianne's going to be a freshman. She is in cheerleading. She does track. She's also in student council, AV club. She's a DECA member, and she was instrumental in planning the 8th grade Washington, D.C. trip. So thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
All right, so we're just going to talk about your experience at the high school and what your plans are for the summer, but I have a few questions for each of you. So Amaya, my big question for you, I'm going to start with you because you are leaving for Australia on a study abroad program tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Come up so fast.
Talk to us about that. How did that come about?
So Colonel Stanton made plenty of announcements for the high school saying, looking for female freshmen to interview for this study abroad program. And so immediately I was like, I want to go to Australia. Like, that would be so cool. And so I applied, and me and Colonel Stanton really hit it off, and I got on the program, which is really amazing. And everyone else got to have their Australian students come here. I did not have an Australian student come here because mine had to cancel. But I got a new student, and so now we're leaving tomorrow, which is crazy. The flight is super long. We have a layover in LAX, though, which I'm excited about. And each day we have a different day to record. Colonel Stanton wants us to vlog. So I'm vlogging tomorrow, and a little iffy about it, but it's so exciting. And I had a FaceTime with my student for the first time a few days ago, and she is like the nicest person I've ever met. She's really great, so I'm super excited to see her.
That's awesome. That's so great. So yeah, and there's tons of opportunities with Global Ed in Wareham. I'm going to France next April. I went to China last year. We had another student that went to China a while back on the show. So Global Ed in Wareham is a huge thing, and we're world renowned for our Global Ed program, and I love to bring that up because it's huge. People know Wareham's on the map for our Global Ed program, so that's really awesome. Alex, I'm going to go to you next. So when I was reading your bio, Lieutenant Governor of your division for Key Club. Yeah. So talk to us about what you do with Key Club and what your role as Lieutenant Governor is.
Well, in Key Club as a Lieutenant Governor, basically from the district board and Kiwanis and everything, they'll send out their newsletters on the first of a month. We have to write our newsletter, but we're just basically telling the general members and the officers of every club in our division what they were telling us. So secretary, directories are due next week. That's what we have to tell them. Or if treasurer dues are due sometime, we have to put that in there. So that's kind of my new job. It's full of emails, going places, and it's going to be really fun.
So you are an 8th grader, you're going to be a freshman next year. And so how did this huge role of Lieutenant Governor come about to you?
It's kind of funny, actually. So Colonel Stan was like, all right, so there's this thing we can go to in February, and I'd like as many people to go as possible, and you can run for LTG. I had no idea what LTG was, so I showed up, and they told me about it. I was the only person even eligible to run for it. So they told me, you can run for this now and not have to do anything like give a speech or anything, or do it at DTON, which you have to stand up in front of people and give a speech. And honestly, a speech was part of the takeaway for that. So I said, all right, I'll just do it right now and see what happens. And
that's awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a really great experience. And the other thing I want to talk to you about is the 8th grade Citizenship Award. So that happened at the promotion ceremony, right? Mm-hmm. And did you have any idea about that?
I wish they told me, but no idea.
So that's really cool, and that's a really huge thing that they've done every year that I remember for an 8th grade student. So that's really big. All right, Marianne, I'm going to you now. And this also goes for Amaya too, but both of you can kind of answer this. And actually, Alex too. I totally forgot about that. So you guys all are involved in a lot, but you're also in sports. You do tennis, right? And you do softball, and you do track and cheerleading, right? So what is the life of a student athlete? What is it like balancing sports and all these clubs and keeping your grades up, because you guys all have excellent grades too? So either any of you can answer that, Marianne.
I guess it's like kind of like easy because like you just have to find like a balance between the both, and like you can stay after for like extra help, and the coaches will let you too. Like they're all nice like that.
That's awesome.
I think it's pretty tough with drama club, especially because it's one of those things. There's a few clubs that you have to like dedicate yourself to, and so when you have this interest in like theater or anything else with some of those clubs, having a sport also, it doesn't work very well. And so I've definitely had to balance my schedule with softball, with doing one season of softball and one season of drama, and it can be pretty tough. But you just have to figure it out, talk to your coaches, talk to the GV, the drama head, and figure it out.
Yeah, in drama, I'm surprised that isn't a sport by now, because
Yeah.
it is a huge commitment, and we do almost as much as a sports team. I mean, we probably practice about the same amount as them, so it's huge.
Yeah.
And Alex, what about you?
This year was my first year doing sport for anything really in Wareham. You know, it's more like just sending an email to Colonel Stanton or Will W. I'm not going to be able to make it to this meeting, or I have to stay after, and you know, they're all really cool about that. So it was kind of easy, like Marianne said.
That's really good. All right, so this one goes to Marianne and Alex. So you guys are both, you were 8th graders this year, and so was I, and we're going to be freshmen next year. And this was the first ever year that 8th grade has been at the high school. And there was tons of chaos about it in the beginning. Parents were complaining, teachers were complaining, kids were complaining. Everyone was complaining and not happy about it at all. So, but now that it's over, me personally, I had an amazing time at the high school. I thought it was great. So what did you guys think?
I really liked it, especially, but I'd be there anyways because us three, I think we're in dual enrollment program.
Yeah.
So, but you know, there was definitely some people in the 8th grade that might not be mature enough for it, but that's for every grade. So it's just.
Like now thinking back, I thought it was like really fun to do it because like it sets your standards up. Because this in the beginning of the year, I was not prepared at all for high school, and now like next year I'll be really prepared. Like know what I have to expect and stuff. Like. It was like, I don't know, like a fun year, I guess.
Yeah, that's really great. Let's see. I also, so now this kind of goes to all of you, or also, before I do that, Marianne and Amaya, you guys are class reps for student council, or were this year. Are you doing it again this year too, Marianne?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so what was, and you were instrumental in the DC trip, like I said, and Amaya, you've done, the freshman class has done tons this year. So what was that experience like, helping plan all these events, and yeah, what was the experience like?
It's pretty vigorous. You have to meet with them like every week. And I think communication is the major issue. I think that a lot of the time it can be cliquey. And so when you come with all these student council reps, it's tough to put yourself in a situation where you have to be a leader, where you're not comfortable in a group of people. So, but the Wareham High School is really great at being welcoming. So I think that when you do immerse yourself in there, there's no judgment, and it's really great.
I feel like sometimes we did argue about things, but then at the end it came out well because we went to DC, and that was just like the funnest trip I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, we didn't have DC trips before, and we did this year. It was like, I don't know how many years back we had a DC trip.
Yeah, it was about, I think, 18 years it was.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's been a while. I'm really happy we brought it back. So this goes to all of you, my final question. What are your plans for the summer? I mean, it's about a week or two in. I think it's a week now. So what are your plans for the summer?
All right, well, I've been kind of trying to take it back, especially since the school year's over. as much as I can.
Me too.
But more just into July, I'll definitely have more things to go to for LTG purposes, like officer meetings and that fun stuff. I have a board meeting in August, so you know. It's good.
Amaya?
Well, Australia, and then when I come back, I'm hoping to get a job. So that'll be my plan.
Trying to get a job right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of working out. I applied. I don't know if I'm going to get the job or not, but I'm trying to stay stress-free this summer because I stressed so much this school year. It was really bad.
Well, if your future employer is watching today, what a great candidate for that. So yeah, thank you guys for joining me today, and my first ever guests on Youth Talk. So thank you guys so much for being here today.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna turn back this way. All right, so let's see. All right, I'm now gonna just talk about some of the events, the youth news that are happening, the youth news that is happening this weekend, some events if you'd like to check them out with your kids. So free summer lunches are back. Kids and teens will be able to receive free lunches in Onset and Wareham from June 24th to August 23rd, Monday through Friday. Lunches will be served from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. And for more information, including serving locations, go to www.mealsforkids.org. Do you like to play chess? The Wareham Free Library is offering a chess club Monday nights from 6 to 7:30 in the conference room. All ages and skills are welcome. For more information, please contact Outreach Librarian Stephen Miller at 508-295-2343, extension 1012. Congratulations to the final students of the month of the middle school for June, Jocelyn D. Medeiros, Matthew Gaetain, and Hayden Kinsman. And another congratulations goes to all the scholarship winners at the Senior Scholarship Night a couple weeks ago. Over $273,000 of scholarships were awarded to the graduating class. If you're still looking for summer camp options, stay tuned throughout the summer to find out more information about different area camps. Here on Youth Talk, we'll talk to different summer camps and figure out more information for you, so stay tuned. And it's going to be a warm weekend this weekend. There are tons of places you can be this weekend to soak in the summer and sun. Onset Beach is always a free fan favorite. Enjoy a day at the beach and then head to one of the many restaurants on Onset Ave. You could also head to Waterwoods for the day, open from 10 to 5 this weekend. General admission is only $40 per person for a full day of fun. Take your pick from 6 tube rides, 5 body slides, and 2 free fall slides. Lazy river, a wave pool, and a kids section safe for children of all ages. Sure to be an enjoyable day. Stay tuned for more. This is just the beginning of Youth Talk. We hope you stay tuned on Mondays and Fridays for more Youth Talk. Join us next Monday where we'll have another episode and more events and more information. If you'd like to be on Youth Talk, we'd love to have you. We're always looking for guests that are holding a kid-friendly event or willing to talk about kids in our community. Send me an email at indianatbiz@gmail.com. That's indianatbiz@gmail.com. We'll see you next time. I'm Indiana Troop, Good Morning Wareham's youth correspondent. This has been an episode of Youth Talk and Good Morning Wareham. I've always wanted to close Good Morning Wareham, so here we go. This concludes our program for today. If you've missed us, don't worry. The show will be rebroadcasted tonight at 6 p.m. and also uploaded on WCTV's YouTube channel, Wareham TV. Thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend, and me and Queen will see you on Monday. Goodbye.